from South Africa. Welcome to the Cape Epic.
For me to be able to go out into the forest on my bike and just absolutely wreck myself for 4 hours or whatever, it's a bit like a drug. I just can't stop doing it. I'd achieved quite a few results in the Australian sort of stage race scene. For me, the natural step was to do Cape Epic, which is the biggest stage race in the world. It's 17,000 metres vertical climbing in 8 days. The first one's only 30 k's or 500 metres or something, so it leaves a lot for the rest. And we're pairing up for it, so that's another aspect that's going to be hard to manage.
Brendan said to me, hey, how about Cape Epic next year? And I thought, oh, he's had a few beers, but yeah, sure, that sounds good. And then a few weeks later, an email came through and he'd contacted the event. I thought, wow, this is actually happening. I'm super keen for it.
You know, Trekkie's the most consistent performer, I suppose, of our generation in Australian mountain biking, and Cam is just a big match player. He can do anything on a bike. I think they'll work well together as a team.
And really learn about the race as it goes on and learn about your partner and get through the race together. Getting through the race together as a team is really the critical part to the Cape Epic.
You need to find a teammate, I think, that you're going to gel with off the bike, on the bike.
We know we can ride with each other, but it's just getting used to that now. Instead of trying to get away from each other, it's learning how to stick with each other.
It was pretty funny one day when he put solar panels on my house just last month or so. And yeah, he's up on the roof working at 6 o'clock at night. At the back of my fence, Cam Ivory and Andy Blair ride past. And it's just like the funniest moment, like they're competing riders and they're just on a roll around. And Trekkie's still on the roof sweating away. So it really shows his ability to run a business and still compete at the highest level in Australia. It's really phenomenal.
Fit and healthy all the time, and he's had maybe one sick day in 9 years working with him. Like there's days he's definitely tired, but I've never seen it affect his work.
There's a lot of guys that are full-time cycling, just every day, just focusing on the bike, and he can still just put them to the sword and yeah, make them look silly come race day.
It's not easy, I don't imagine for a second, but at the same time, I think if he's having a hard race, then it's better than having a crappy day at work.
You know, I found it quite challenging to fit it all in, but at the same time, it taught me so much about what I could do and what I was capable of fit into my days.
He'll wake up at, say, 4:45 with his 10 alarms, and I'm pretty sure I'm his 11th alarm before he gets up. Do his thing, you know, train till 7:30, we'll go to work, come straight home. It depends what days it is as well. He'll do an afternoon session, and then we'll catch up, have our little dinner, and then we'll go again the next day. Really, that's Brendan.
I guess I'm just driven by wanting to keep doing well and keep living this kind of super busy, hectic life, but it's rewarding. For the Cape Epic in 2019, I'm riding the Giant Anthem Advanced 29er.
We had to make the new Giant work with his custom setup. To start with, it was running Shimano DR2. Now it's going to be running the 12-speed XTR mechanical.
New 12-speed XTR is fantastic. 34-tooth front chainring with the 1045 at the rear. Heaps of climbing coming up, 17,000 metres. To be a platform that I was happy to race, you know, this race, which is going to be the hardest thing we've done. I need a light bike. I'm going to need the best bike. I know there's things that I wanted. I've got a custom wheel set on there, super wide rims, carbon rims. The Anthem frame and geometry is perfect for the race, I think. Full carbon, rear triangle, main frame, carbon linkage, Maestro suspension. You know, a great snappy climbing bike, but super fun on the descents with the way they've set up the geometry on them. We've got a new Fox suspension package coming for the Cape Epic, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, there's some few sneaky mods on some lightweight parts that we slip into there if it can last it, but most of it's super reliable and it's all off-the-shelf items currently.
It's light, it's durable, the terrain is rough, it's got to be ready, and I think it is. pretty cool to finally be at the Cape Epic. Obviously it's our first trip over. We just kind of got all the boxes ticked, the registration, pre-rode the course. Kind of feel organised now after, you know, spending the day, getting set up. So yeah, ready to start tomorrow.
It's been lovely. I heard it's only meant to get better in the camp event. First started discussing this almost 12 months ago, and now we're here, and it feels like that time has gone so fast. So today, getting to the event village, seeing the finish line there, all of the banners set up, the thousands of people that are here, it's really sinking in.
They're leaving. After them will be Brendan Johnston and Cameron Avery, the Shimano Australia team.
It's a tough prologue course, a lot of climbing first up. First 10k is pretty much uphill. But look, I think it'd be a good day for us to head out and sort of see how we're working as a team and see where each other are at on the first sort of high intensity hit out.
That's definitely been one of the hardest marathons I've ever done. By the end of it, it was about 4.5 hours. Meant to be 2,700 metres climbing in 111 kilometres. So yeah, I definitely felt it. We just tried to stay on top of hydration, nutrition, bit of pacing, and we were able to pick off a lot of teams towards the end.
Road cycling has a Tour de France, mountain biking has a Cape Epic. And it's just like that. And we only had one day. Obviously not as long as Tour de France, but I think days like today, they're harder than a marathon we'd have back home, and we just got to back it up. So it's hard.
And I think we're in the mix. Probably we maybe expected to be a bit further up, but I'm pretty pleased with how we rode. I'm feeling really good. So yeah, today will be another day.
Three days into Cape Epic now. We've established a good routine. Up at 4:45, breakfast 5 a.m, skim through some data from today's plan from the previous day, quick cross-check of the nutrition, quick bike check, and then it's on the start line and it's business time, we're straight into it. The single track's really cool here. It's not bike park single track, it's sort of like trails that meander through different properties and stuff, which I think is really cool. It's sort of more of a journey. It's probably a bit harsher than what we have back home, especially when we head up into the big mountains. It's so rough, and like it's stuff that I've never really ridden in that sort of terrain before.
The start it's like a World Cup for an hour. At the start of 5 hours. And then you got to just pick up the pieces, I guess, after that.
Cameron Avery, along with his partner from Shimano Australia, Brendan Johnston, great rider from Augusta, just over 5 hours of riding for the Aussies.
Oh, hard day. A little bit shorter, but I think just as much climbing as yesterday. Just felt faster.
I did a lot of training coming into this. Probably done more training for this event than almost any other event I've trained for. So to turn up over here and not have the legs that I was expecting or wanting was a bit disappointing. So I just tried to work with what I had each day.
I can't see myself, choosing anyone else. Current national cross-country champion, current national marathon champion. We'd raced a lot together in that previous year, and his marathon form had really come along. And we just had a tough week out there.
Sean is here to help us out for the week, and he's done exactly that. He's been awesome. He's got a lot of history at this race. He's kind of dug deep and drawn on his experience and really spurred us on. I mean, obviously we've had some days that have been tough with Cam and I's the performance being, you know, mismatched on the climbs, definitely. Sean's kind of worked us through that. He's been there. So to have him sort of with that knowledge is invaluable, and yeah, he'll help us get to the end.
I guess the whole part of me coming here this week was just to try to make the job a bit easier for the boys, take a few little jobs off them, which yeah, just makes them more relaxed over the week and yeah, can concentrate on racing their bikes.
Forecast was suggested to be 18 to 29 degrees daily. Now 11. It's 5.
It's 5 degrees, it's cold. Get me out of here.
Cam and I are trying to, you know, I've spoken to him, we're trying to try and limit the damages on the descents, rough, rocky descents, which there are heaps of. So you just got to be careful because, you know, a puncture or a broken wheel or broken bike, something, it can really just destroy your race, and we don't want that. I think if you ride a controlled stage each day, form aside, that's a big tip.
The team that won the stage 2 days ago, we beat them yesterday. They were back in, I think, 25th. So anything can happen out there. Some teams can also just come out of nowhere and, you know, almost podium a stage. So it's a funny event, this one. I think just being so long, so hard, lots of different terrain out there, so many climbs. Teams can just sort of come out of nowhere, have a good day, and then some good teams can just fade and have nothing.
I mean, obviously the field is huge. The UCI, we're probably just ahead of midfield in the UCI teams, which is still a good result. I mean, we'll go home if we're top 20 here or just outside. I think that's something we can look back on and be proud of. And there's key events that I sort of look to for inspiration when I'm taking on something new, and this will definitely be one of those, I think.
After stage one, I finished and said that's the hardest marathon I've ever done. And, you know, we're racing with world champs in the sport. It's a deep field, and yeah, to have to do that 8 days in a row was pretty tough.
You do a race like this, and it's just a massive experience that you can draw on for years to come. Yeah, get that through the 8 days and really feel like you've achieved something.
You know, I've already started planning for next year, and you know, I think what I learned this year about the race is that it really suits me. The long climbs, you know, just the style of riding there, the backing up day after day, just long days, hard days. That's what I really thrive on, and you know, I almost get stronger throughout the week. Sure, this year we didn't have the ride that I was hoping for, and you know, I want to go back there and I want to take it on. You know, it's the mountain bike version of the Tour de France, and it's really where I can probably stamp my name on stage racing sort of internationally, and I think I'm capable of it.